Okay, so let's talk about XRP. What's going to happen to XRP in the month of December? It's the question, in my opinion, that we're all asking. And I'm going to give you a couple of key things that you need to know about to look at both sides of how it will play out for XRP in the month of December, either going up or going down, staying the same, what have you. Okay, so we're going to take a look at everything. Obviously, XRP is up dramatically today. It's up 8%, basically getting back the 7 or 8% it lost yesterday when the market unraveled because of the yen carry trade debacle has to do with Japanese yen and all that. We've talked about that. We are going to briefly touch on that today. But overall, market is bouncing back really, really nicely. And I think one of the main reasons we're seeing the market bounce back is because of this right here. Because today they made the official announcement, Vanguard, and $11 trillion under management, one of the oldest, most established, well-respected companies in the mutual fund space, has just announced today that their clients can now buy crypto ETFs starting today, finally bridging TradFi crypto for 50 plus million investors. This is a big deal. And I think that's part of the reason you're seeing the bounce in the overall market. I think it kind of signals the turning of the tide from a traditional finance scenario. This is a company that historically was looking down their nose at crypto. Okay, so this is good. And I think that XRP will benefit from this because obviously why? There are XRP ETFs out there. So this is more of right now. This is more of laying the groundwork, what we're seeing right this second, and a pretty significant look forward from a positive standpoint, guys, of one of the first big traditional finance TradFi companies coming out and again endorsing crypto, in this case, crypto ETFs. All right, now, so let's turn our attention now to another post I put out, and this one I've pinned. And to me, this really sums up December. Okay. So I put this post out about an hour or so ago, and I wanted to really kind of bring this home. Now, this post references Bitcoin, but again, it is relevant, and we could obviously really swap out XRP in for this. Okay. So I don't know if you know this, the Federal Reserve last night just did a $13.5 billion liquidity injection into the markets. Second biggest since COVID. We haven't seen this in years. Basically ending that, signaling that quantitative tightening is dead. We knew QT, quantitative tightening, ended yesterday, December 1. Okay, so translation, the money printer is waking up from a snap. Now, what we haven't seen is official quantitative easing policy statements coming from the Fed. That will dramatically bolster anything playing out. But it is kind of signaling that we're waking up from a nap. Again, 13.5 billion. This is good news. Okay. So what does this mean for Bitcoin and all of crypto? Here's where it gets interesting. Okay. We've heard people like Tom Lee and Fundstrat, talking about the end of QT equals markets rip. Okay. Not necessarily. Right. So the last time quantitative tightening stopped, risk assets like crypto went up 17% in 3 weeks. Sounds good. This was back a few years ago. Okay. Tom's calling for Bitcoin all-time high by late January. I think that in January, February, it's going to be a completely different game. But in this video, we're talking about December. Okay. But here's the reality. This was kind of the bull side. On the bull side, we've got this. Now, not mentioned here is Federal Reserve, which we'll get to that here in just a minute. Okay. On the bear side, we got some pretty significant things. Bank of Japan hiking odds now 81% for December 19th. On December 19th, we're going to find out from what the Bank of Japan is going to do as far as hiking their base rate, their base interest rate. 81% they're going to do that. This is going to negatively impact crypto. It's going to negatively impact your XRP. Right now, this is why the Bank of Japan news is why you saw crypto and XRP go down 8-9+% yesterday. Okay. Now the markets absorb that, right, for this moment, but we got an 81% chance for Japan to raise that rate December 19th. The interesting thing here is that everybody knows this date, and everybody knows that the odds are high that we're going to get that rate. So every single Bank of Japan hike this year equals instant Bitcoin / crypto faceplant. This has continued to be the unwind for the yen carry. This is relevant. Okay. so what does this mean? Well, Austin, you just said, the bulls are saying end of QT and all that. I know, right? But I'm also saying there is the other side of the street, which introduces what? Uncertainty and volatility of the Bank of Japan. Now, the odds are 87% high from a bull standpoint that we are going to get a Federal Reserve rate cut here in the United States from the FOMC on their meeting on December 10th, which is 8 days away. We're going to get that, okay? We've got the Federal Reserve injecting liquidity. We've got that, okay? We've got quantitative tightening. We've got that. All good things. But this Bank of Japan thing is a big deal because it's going to have a ripple effect, okay? So what we got? Fed opening the tap, green. Bank of Japan squeezing the pipe, red. Short term, a relief bounce. Quantitative tightening is over. We are seeing that today, a relief bounce. That's what we're seeing right this second, okay? Next 4 to 8 weeks, here we go. This is the key. Truly, and I love this, a tug of war between the Fed juice, quantitative tightening in, liquidity injections, Federal Reserve rate cut coming into on December 10th, and Bank of Japan pain. Okay, this is what you need to know. December is this. Next 4+ weeks, this tug of war between good news, Federal Reserve, quantitative tightening, liquidity injections from the Fed, bad news, Bank of Japan. That's how big of a deal this Bank of Japan thing is. Long term, if Powell cuts December 10th and Bank of Japan blinks, right, straight to 2020 style moon fuel. Bottom line, the Fed just turned the hose on. Question is if Japan lets us drink or sprays us in the face. And that is the truth about where we're at right this second, looking into and as we see the rest of December play out. Well, Austin, you just told me good news, bad news. Exactly. I just gave you the pros and the cons and just gave you both sides. And what does that mean? What does that equal? It equals it is going to be a ton of volatility. It is going to be a somewhat of a rough ride. You're going to wake up one day and crypto is going to be down. You're going to wake up the next day, crypto is going to be up because you got these two massive dueling narratives with macro financial catalysts, everything the Fed's doing, Bank of Japan, good, bad, all that kind of stuff, and their impact, right, on crypto, on your XRP. This is it, guys. That's the truth, okay? That's the truth. Well, Austin, you didn't really help me. Yeah, I did. At least I told you what the hell's going on, okay? And I told you that this is the world we're going to live in, most likely through the rest of December. So we're going to be looking for key pieces of information coming out of BOJ, Bank of Japan, key pieces coming out and around the Federal Reserve, rate cut, liquidity injections, more news about, as it relates to QT ending, so forth and so on. That's it, guys. That's what we're seeing. Okay. So yeah. All right. Last day for the Black Friday sale for lifetime access to my trading indicator. If you want to get this, what it does is it helps you know when really to buy any cryptos. You can see like right here, it gives you this really cool chart right here, this X1 DCA accumulator. In addition to obviously everything else it does, it gives you buys and sells and all this kind of stuff. Look, it gave a sell alert, all this right here. See all this? I mean, right here, 52% down. So it tells you that's Cardano, excuse me. Cardano, when to buy, when to sell, right? So if you want to take a look at XRP right there. So it's giving you the chart will come flowing in here in just a minute. Okay. So right there, it's showing you that on XRP, it is a still time to accumulate, but we're getting a little bit higher price point. Okay. It tells you when to buy, when to sell, right? In addition to all the other data it gives you, this right here, this tool is the only way you can get this is in this lifetime access right there. So links are in the description below if you want to pick that up. If you want to really know when to buy, really know when to sell, when to accumulate, all that kind of things, in addition to all the other power you get with X1 Algo, links in the description below. Go check her out. It's ending today. And I wasn't showing you that. So apologize right here. That's what I meant to show you. My apologies. XRP showing you where to buy right there. Cardano showing you where to buy right there. All that is the functionality that you get. Sorry, I apologize. I didn't know I was not showing you all that. Now I am showing it to you. Links in the description below if you want to go check that out. Go get her. All right. I'll see you.